In the past 4 years, Thelma Maria welcomed a charming boxer puppy into her life and affectionately named her Belina. Thelma devoted a significant amount of meaningful moments to bonding with her canine companion. Therefore, it came as no surprise that when Thelma passed away, the profound impact of her absence resonated with Belina, despite the undeniable love shared between pet and owner. On the fateful day of the funeral, Belina's unexpected reaction caught everyone by surprise. Thelma Maria Pereira, a devoted wife and mother to 2 sons, held immense love for her family, which was reciprocated abundantly. However, as her 2 sons matured, Thelma Maria couldn't help but sense a void in their lives, as if something crucial was amiss. Enthusiastically embracing the idea, Thelma Maria embarked on a quest to expand her family further. She embarked on a search throughout her city of Teresina, and soon widened her scope to encompass the entire state of Piauí, Brazil. Before long, Thelma Maria stumbled upon exactly what she had been seeking: a delightful litter of boxer puppies eagerly awaiting new homes. The breed's size and overall temperament perfectly aligned with Thelma Maria's family lifestyle. Receiving the family's unanimous approval, Thelma Maria proceeded to bring home a spirited boxer puppy whom she affectionately named Belina. From the moment of her adoption, Belina was wholeheartedly embraced by the entire family. It took no time at all for Belina to establish herself as an integral presence in Thelma Maria's life, as well as in the lives of Maria and the rest of their family. Her owner was overjoyed to have completed her family and worked hard to train Belina very well. The dog was happy in her new family and was giving every indication that she was thriving in that environment. For a short while the family was over the moon, that is until the day they received life-changing news. The day Thelma Maria was diagnosed with cancer was a terrible hit for the family. Things were going to change fairly drastically if she began the battle for her life. She cut back on working and focused on getting healthy and spending time with her family. Even more, the dog became an excellent companion to Thelma Maria as she began a treatment. Over the next several months, Thelma Maria grew weak and fatigued from her battle with cancer and had to spend more and more time resting indoors. Her husband worked hard to keep up their quality of life, but he struggled to be present with his children while working so much and being so preoccupied with his wife. That is where sweet Belina came in. The beautiful dog became more attached to Thelma Maria by the day and would spend most of her time cuddling or hanging around Thelma Maria. The youthful puppy energy dissipated in Belina as she developed into an adult boxer. She took on some of Thelma Maria's traits, becoming calmer with time and allowing her owner to spend time with her children or simply relax on her bed. Days grew into months, which grew into years, and the mother remained sick and coach-bound. It was hard for Thelma Maria to watch her family engage so fully with the world while her life seemed to be on hold. She wished she could still attend school events and sports with her sons. She wished she could work again and take some of the strain off of her husband. She wanted more than anything to go on a date or adventure with her husband like they did when they were teenagers. But alas, Thelma Maria could do none of those things. While some people might despair over the grim circumstances, Thelma Maria kept her spirits up with the help of her furry friend. Perhaps it was thanks to Belina that Thelma Maria could maintain her grip on life for so long. The family was glued together because of the dog, and that gave her something to fight for. Unfortunately, her resilience was not enough. After years of radiation, chemotherapy, and surgeries, Thelma Maria faded away. Her cancer had spread to her lungs, spine, liver, and pancreas. Her family stuck by her as she began to pass. They were grateful she had stayed in their lives as long as she could and would be sad to see her go, but relieved that her pain and struggles were coming to an end. Belina clung to Thelma Maria, wanting to be in constant contact with her. The dog laid with her owner as she passed away. The boys were sitting around their mother, and they knew the moment she was gone because Belina began to cry and nudge Thelma Maria's still body. The 2 boys sat in quiet sadness as their dad entered the room, beckoned by Belina's crying. The 3 men held each other and began mourning Thelma Maria. The subsequent week of their lives was filled with funeral preparations and the many logistics involved with the death of a loved one. The family spent the week camped out in the living room. They felt closer to Thelma Maria there in that space where she'd spent most of the last 4 years, plus that was the room where they kept Bellina's crate so the family could all be together. Thelma Maria's sons coped by joking that Bellina was essentially a hospice nurse and would need a new job shortly. After an excruciatingly long week, the day finally came for the family to leave their house and hold the funeral. They all got dressed up, stocked up on tissues, and headed out. The three got into their car. But Dad never turned over the ignition. Instead, they sat together quietly for a few minutes. Something didn't feel right, but none of them could figure out what until the youngest son spoke up and admitted he felt like they were forgetting something. He went back into the house briefly and then came back out with Bellina on a leash, her water dish tucked under his arm. He got in the back seat and bade the boxer to follow suit. Once Bellina was in the vehicle, things seemed to click into place. "Now the whole family is here," the oldest son remarked, and the four of them drove to the funeral home. It was unconventional to bring a pet, but the staff at the funeral home made an exception. Bellina was incredibly well behaved, a testament to Thelma Maria's training, so she was allowed in and the wake began. As soon as someone outside the family entered the room, Bellina made a beeline for Thelma Maria in her casket. The dog stood guard by her owner and looked weirdly at guests as they came forward to pay their respects. Dad and his sons mingled throughout the 2-hour wake, but Bellina did not move a muscle the entire time. "Tell me," Maria's eldest son Dionisio Neto took the sweet dog outside for a walk between the wake and funeral. She was clearly discombobulated and mildly frightened by the crowd. Dionisio gave her some treats and calmed her down, then they went back inside for the funeral. The guests had all taken their seats and the family entered the chapel. Dad went in first, walked up to Thelma Maria's casket, kissed her, and then went to sit. The boys followed behind, copying the convention model by their father. Bellina followed in the rear of the procession. The dog too marched all the way up to Thelma Maria's casket, and then she did something truly heartbreaking. She demonstrated her dedication to her owner by copying Dad and the boys. She pushed herself up onto her hind legs, and just as the three men had done before her, Bellina bent her head to kiss Thelma Maria. To be precise, it was a loving lick rather than a conventional kiss, but the intention behind it was unmistakable. However, instead of joining her human companions in the pew, Bellina remained steadfastly stationed nearby. As the funeral commenced and the priest began to speak, the entire congregation in the church couldn't help but have their attention captivated by the sight of the gentle boxer, faithfully standing guard beside her owner's coffin. The devoted dog had not realized that her position protecting Thelma Maria had come to an end. Throughout the entire ceremony, Bellina stayed up on her hind legs with her front paws on the casket and her eyes on her favorite human. Bellina's behavior and unwavering devotion during Thelma Maria's funeral left an indelible mark on everyone's memory. Although Thelma Maria is gone forever, the profound love she bestowed upon her beloved dog will never fade, and Bellina will forever cherish and deeply miss her.